So this is a rate question, and we have to be very careful. The times, we can't add or subtract the times, but we can always add rates. So Michael's rate, for Michael, we have a rate of 1 driveway over 12 minutes. So I'm just going to write that rate as 1 over 12. And for Eamon, we have a rate of 1 over 36. And so both of these are in, you could say, in units of driveways per minute. So now we can add both of those. For the combined rate, we're allowed to add rates. So 112 plus 136. So that would be 336 plus 136 would be 436, or a rate of 1/9. And if they were working at a rate of 1/9, 1/9 of a driveway every minute, that means it would take them 9 minutes to shovel a full driveway. And that's the answer.
Okay, we need to evaluate column A, the sum of integers from 1 to 40 inclusive. To find this sum quickly, we'll need the following formula. It says the sum of integers from 1 to n inclusive is equal to n times n plus 1 over 2. So in our example, n equals 40. So we'll plug 40 into our formula. And now notice that we can simplify 40 over 2, that's equal to 20. And now we'll multiply 20 times 40 plus 1, or 20 times 41. This gives us 820, which means column A is greater than column B, which means our answer is A. We are told that Sam has already played 18 matches, and he has 13 matches remaining. So we know that he has 31 matches in total. In order to qualify for the tournament, Sam must win 60% of those 31 matches. 60% of 31 is equal to 18.6. So Sam needs at least 18.6 wins to qualify for the tournament. So far, Sam already has 14 wins, so he needs an additional 4.6 wins to qualify. Since the number of wins must be an integer, we know that Sam needs at least 5 more wins to qualify, so the answer here is B. Alright, to begin, let's say that Anne's height equals x. Since B is 20% taller than Anne, we can say that B's height will be 1.2 times x. Now Cam is 20% taller than B. So to find Cam's height, we'll take B's height of 1.2x and multiply it by 1.2. When we simplify this, we see that Cam's height is 1.44x. Now on to column A. Here we have Cam's height, which is 1.44x, minus B's height, which is 1.2x. When we simplify this, we get 0.24x. Now on to column B. Here we have B's height, which is 1.2x, minus Anne's height, which is x. When we simplify this, we get 0.2x. As you can see, column A is greater than column B, so our answer must be A. To begin, we should recognize that there are 2 criteria associated with each student in this group. Those criteria are taking French or not taking French, that's one criterion, and taking Spanish or not taking Spanish, that's the second. Given that there are 2 criteria for every member of this group, we can use the double matrix. Now let's label this matrix. Let's use the left-hand column to denote all the students taking French, and the right-hand column for students who are not taking French. Let's use the top row for students taking Spanish, and the bottom row for students not taking Spanish. Now we have 50 students altogether, so we'll keep track of that here. Finally, we want to know how many students are taking both French and Spanish. So once we distribute those 50 students among these 4 boxes, we want to know how many students are in this box. Now our first piece of information tells us that 31 students are taking French, so the sum of the 2 boxes on the left-hand side must add to be 31. Now if we have 50 students and 31 of those students are taking French, then 19 students must not be taking French. In other words, the sum of the two boxes on the right-hand side must add to be 19. We are also told that we have 17 students taking Spanish, so the sum of the two boxes in the top row must add to be 17. And if there are 17 students taking Spanish, then the remaining 33 students must not be taking Spanish. Finally, we have one last piece of information. 10 students are taking neither French nor Spanish. In other words, we can place 10 students right here in the box that represents students not taking Spanish or French. Now we have 19 students altogether who are not taking French. We already have one value, 10, which means this other box must equal 9. We also know that there are 33 students who are not taking Spanish. So the sum of the two boxes on the bottom row must add to be 33, which means that this box must be 23. And finally, we know that there are 17 students taking Spanish, so the top two boxes must add to be 17, so this last box must be 8. So now we know that there are 8 students taking both French and Spanish, so our answer is B.
So here we're given that the rate at which Robin can read is 16 pages per hour. So we can do these problems by setting up a proportion. So she's reading 16 pages in 1 hour. Column A is asking number of hours it takes Robin to read 1 page. So we put this quantity that we're interested, which is time to read 1 page, and I write T hour, which is the time we need to find out, which is the unknown. And you can solve for T, which is 1/16th of an hour, because really you can cross multiply. Once you've set up or made the units equivalent in these proportions, you can just drop them and solve it like an equation. So you would do cross multiplication, 16t equal to 1, and then t is 1/16th. Or you can simply just see that if you move t here, 16 goes here. So either way, all of these operations are equivalent. So column A is 1/16th. We'll do the same thing for Rohan. His rate is 25 pages in 1 hour. Question is time to read 2 pages. So 2 pages, T hour. So again, T in this case would be 2/25. So really just comparing 1/16th to 2/25. At this point, you can use a calculator, but it's easier to actually just manipulate these, and you can just cross these terms, meaning 25 moves here. This is your new column A, and column B would be 16 times 2 is 32. Whichever is greater is the greater quantity. And so the answer here is B. And the reason you can do this is because the longer process is you multiply both sides by 16. So this would become 1, because you're doing the equivalent operation on these columns. Then if you multiply both sides by 25, this would go out of the denominator. You'll end up with 25 here and 32 here. And what I did was the shortcut. So to recap, the answer is B.
Let's begin by assigning some variables. From the question, it appears that Ken is the youngest person, so let's let X equal Ken's age. We know that Ron is 7 years older than Ken, so Ron's age will be X plus 7. We also know that Ben is 3 times as old as Ron, so we can calculate Ben's age to be Ron's age times 3. Finally, we know that Ed is 8 years younger than Ben, so if we take Ben's age and subtract 8 from it, we'll get Ed's age. Now we are told that the sum of all 4 ages is 161. This means that if we add Ken's age plus Ron's age plus Ben's age plus Ed's age, our total will be 161. Now let's expand some of our brackets here to get the following. And from here we can simplify this equation by collecting like terms. When we do, we get 8x plus 41 equals 161. From here we can subtract 41 from both sides of the equation. And now we'll divide both sides by 8 to get x equals 15. Now what does this tell us? Well, we know that x equals Ken's age, so we now know that Ken is 15. Since Ron is 7 years older than Ken, we know that Ron is 22, and we know our answer then is C.